My boyfriend's family claimed I ruined him, and now they're against me.
Well, what can you do?
My boyfriend, 22 male, and I, 22 female, have been together for over 3 years. We live together and have a really strong, loving relationship. He is my best friend and genuinely one of the kindest, most thoughtful people I've ever met. But his family has always been intense. By the way, this comes from HTTPS error, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do, so let's know what you would do in the comments. And OP says, over time, I've realized they're controlling, very religious, Catholic, and guilt-driven. They expect everyone to live and believe exactly how they do, and they react really badly when someone doesn't. At first, it was small stuff, comments about us living together. That's not right. You should hurry up and get married. You need to be right with God. And constantly guilting him if he didn't come to Sunday lunch. They act like they're open and loving, but if you disagree with them, you're treated like a problem. My boyfriend is also working under his dad to take over the family business. But there's been a lot of issues with that over the past few years because his dad has become unreliable and recently told him he would never own the business, despite saying he would ever since we've gotten together. I was a huge reason that my boyfriend even began wanting to take it over in the first place. I have always tried to be close with them, but have always felt underlying dislike since the start, especially by his sister. On our first day of knowing each other, her first words in front of me were to my boyfriend, saying that for a second she thought he had brought their grandma over.
Wait a second. What? Are they calling OP a grandma?
Yeah, the first words in front of OP were directed at OP's boyfriend, going, I really thought you brought grandma over for a second.
Oh my gosh.
She also made snide comments about me based on what she assumed were my political views. Additionally, she has always unincluded me when it comes to her 20 female and my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend, 23 female. She has been around for double the time I have, and when I started noticing being blatantly left out, usually talking about how much we all loved thrifting and uptown cheapskate, and then them making plans in front of me to go and not inviting me. Despite me starting that conversation, it was really hard to not start comparing myself. Another layer to this is that my boyfriend has always struggled with setting boundaries with his parents. For a while, and this was something he admitted to me later, and I didn't know it was happening at the time, whenever he would set a boundary, he would say it was me that was upset, not the both of us, even if it was just him who was upset about something. Girl, he set you up to fail.
Yeah.
That's setting you up to fail.
That's such a bad boyfriend move. What the heck?
He also has a tendency to have lunch with his parents and then come back a completely different person because they spend the whole lunch trying to convince him of something or to have a certain opinion. He has since started therapy throughout this and has gotten a lot better, but it's still just another cause of this mess. After a lot of pressure and guilt from them, my boyfriend finally decided to have a calm, honest conversation with his parents about the boundaries and how they've been making him feel. I went with him because some of the issues involved me too, like being excluded from communication and being blamed for decisions we made together. The main reason I was there was because he asked me to be there for moral support, but wanted me to speak minimally. The
I'm sorry. I want you to be here so you can just support me, but quietly.
Even though
Don't
this
say
is
a
about
word.
your concern.
Yeah, what?
Weird. The conversation started okay, but quickly turned awful. His dad became defensive and basically said he didn't have to respect our opinions if we didn't share his beliefs. He openly compared me to his brother's girlfriend, and even if my boyfriend was the one expressing himself, both his parents would respond and get mad at me. When I suggested there be a more efficient way of communication about family events, it's a lot to explain, but just trust. His dad said the world didn't revolve around me and I needed to get over it because he wasn't going to call me to tell me updates about things or send things into the family group chat or talk about them at lunch.
You just gotta get over it. I'm not gonna talk to you at all or
Right.
communicate like whatsoever.
Weird.
So just deal with it.
A couple of weeks later, he called me directly after my boyfriend said he wouldn't go back over to Sunday lunch until his dad apologized to me for getting specifically heated with me, and that also went terribly. He yelled at me, accused me of holding his son back, called me names, a snowflake, and told me to grow up. That was the breaking point. My boyfriend decided to take space from them for a while. I met with his mom, one-on-one, afterward to clear the air, and she acted like she understood. She said she wanted to make things better and even asked me how to best resolve things. We had a very long, seemingly productive conversation about how we both missed each other and wanted things to go back to normal, and why my boyfriend and I have both been hurt and how she's been hurt. She asked me how to get through to her son, and I explained to her how he was feeling and how to get him to be receptive to her attempts to reach out, genuinely just acknowledging his feelings and making it clear that they wanted to resolve things. And she agreed with me. She said she would, and then never did. Then, when my boyfriend called her asking why, she claimed we never spoke of anything like that. Weeks went by, and things only got worse. His dad started withholding money he owed my boyfriend for work, and when my boyfriend asked about it, his dad got defensive again and said he didn't remember agreeing to pay him. He eventually paid him what was owed until that point, and then demoted his pay from now onward, since my boyfriend told his dad he was looking for a new job when summer starts. Every conversation turned into gaslighting. Then his sister texted him out of nowhere, basically telling him to get over himself, that he and I were being dramatic, and that he needed to grow up. That's when we realized his parents had been spreading their version of the story around to all the siblings. His dad even talked to my boyfriend's brother, who then told one of my boyfriend's friends about it and got him involved. So my boyfriend decided to send a calm, factual group message to his siblings explaining everything: the religious pressure, the disrespect, his dad yelling at me, and why he needed space. He was polite, but honest. Their reaction was brutal. They said he needed to get his crap together, that I had changed him, and that I was basically molding him into someone else. His sister said I was insecure, that I've been jealous of the other brother's girlfriend from the start, that my boyfriend used to be fun and carefree, and now she doesn't even recognize him. She then proceeded to compare me to said brother's girlfriend, saying that she brings him closer to the family and I take my boyfriend away from them. She said he wasn't himself anymore and he wasn't taking over the business, as if I was manipulating him not to, when I was the one who encouraged him to in the first place. They said the only solution was for him to start going back to Sunday lunch without me for a couple of weeks to feel it out, that I could come later when I was ready. I can't even describe how much that hurt. They've twisted the story to make me the villain. And even though my boyfriend defended me and said it wasn't true, he also said that eventually he wants to go back to those lunches. He said maybe over time they'll come around to liking me again. But I feel like I can never go back there, not after being screamed at, lied about, and blamed for everything. But by the way, I'll never blame you for listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcasts, and search up OK Storytime. We've got just a little bit more. Big sigh.
Yeah, it's complicated because I get how OP is feeling.
100%.
Like, yeah, these people were terrible to me. I don't want to be around them.
And like still excluding her when that was her biggest thing of like, I feel really left out.
Right. Like that's all she wanted. But like, I also understand the boyfriend's idea of like, well, I mean, hopefully over time this can be fixed. And like, it's hard because like, I wouldn't be mad at the boyfriend for that at all. Like, I think that's very understandable for him to want to, but it's hard because neither of them have control over that.
Right. I think I'd be mad if it was like he hadn't tried and he hadn't talked to them about things.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're just not getting through to him. And it's,
yeah, because he did tell them.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like you can't make him cut them off. So this is the solution. Like it is just he's going to maintain contact and you're just kind of not, unless you're not wanting to stay in that relationship.
Yeah.
Got a little bit left. Now I'm stuck in this unbearable place. I love him so much and he's not the one hurting me. His family is. But I don't know how I can build a life with someone whose entire family sees me as manipulative and controlling. And I can't imagine pretending to be bubbly and friendly at Sunday lunch with people who hate me. I don't want to give him an ultimatum, but I feel like I can't handle this anymore. I'm exhausted. I cry constantly. and I feel like I'm losing my mind. I'm terrified that they are right about me and that I've been unknowingly this way. What do you even do when you adore someone but their family has decided you're the villain in their story? And we have some comments. Commenter 1, your man is an absolute coward and he has no intention of ever putting you first. Even now, he wants their approval. If he can't live without them, then he can't live with you. Find a real man. Someone replies, your partner is in a tough spot. I hope he continues on his own path and stays away from their religious pressuring and bullying. But he's telling you he wants to go back to the frequent lunches with his bullies. He is the one who put all the blame on you at first and endangered your relationship with his family. I did totally forget that he was the one that was like lying and saying OP wasn't okay with things.
I forgot about that too.
I forgot about that.
I fear that's maybe where our issue begins.
I think it really does.
Yeah.
So, like, 'cause I'm torn because it did seem like he tried a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like he could still continue to try and show you that he's stepping up.
Sure.
I'm still on the front, though, that, like, ultimately, if he goes back to that relationship with his parents, even if they are bullying him, that is his choice. It is his family.
Yeah.
And over time, maybe he will realize what they've done to you and that you are someone that he really loves. And then he will distance himself again.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. Tough.
He was weak and didn't care to look out for you. His family sounds like self-righteous religious a-holes. Is that who you'd want for your kid's grandparent? He needs to go no contact with them and continue therapy to heal from those relationships. If he won't, you need to make a choice of what you allow in your life, and that is the end of that story.
My friend's girlfriend keeps touching my husband, so I confronted her.
Stay away from my husband.
Some background. Myself, 32 female, and my husband, 33 male, have been together since 2017, married since 2022. Him and his best friend, 30 male, we'll call him Kevin, have been close since 2016. He was the best man at our wedding. By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, and I'm Angie.
I'm Carly.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We just know what we would do in this situation. Let us know what you would do down below. So OP says, we've always gotten along well, but don't have our own friendship. I don't see a reason to speak with Kevin outside of when we all spend time together. One of our other friends, 30 female, has been friends with all of us since the beginning too. She introduced me to my husband actually. They're good friends to this day. Kevin has a baby with his girlfriend, 34 female. Together we make up a 5-person friend group. We have game nights and go out to do fun stuff, beach days, get together and such. Kevin's current girlfriend is kind of an outlier, since the 4 of us have been friends for so long and she is more new to the group. I've never had an issue with her until recently. To start things off, my husband has never given me a reason to not trust him. This isn't about that. It's about not trusting her or feeling like she's disrespected boundaries. It started small, like she would be naturally feeding her baby in front of us, not an issue at all, but would repeatedly bring attention to the fact that her front airbag was out. That rubbed me the wrong way. She kept saying, I'm so sorry, my biddy is out. And I'd catch myself noticing, like, if you are sorry, why do you continue calling attention to it rather than fixing it if you think it's something that you need to apologize for? Another time, she was wearing a dress and was sitting on the floor near my husband. I don't remember what we were all talking about, but she brought her leg up, pointed her toes towards my husband, and laughed more than once. That was weird. I didn't say anything, but I remember feeling like it's not appropriate. I'm always mindful when I wear dresses. I definitely wouldn't lift up one of my legs while sitting on the floor and point it towards a man that isn't my significant other. She's made comments to my husband like, I'm going to call you once a week to talk about Kevin since you're his best friend. That is weird.
I hate that.
That's very weird. That time, I did speak up and said, no, you're not. Get a therapist. And we all laughed it off. Do it though. Yeah, I'm guessing that was like in a context of like saying something about Kevin being annoying or something like that. That's so weird. Then she kept doing stuff like saying to my husband, maybe we can be workout buddies, when he's expressed that he's wanting to get back into the gym soon. Then she backtracked and said, not like in person, just like text each other so that we could be accountable. You didn't say anything, neither did I. They're not friends. Neither of us have a relationship with her outside of the 5 of us all spending time together. Her and I don't text or talk. She's never made an effort to befriend me outside of the group, so it seemed weird to me that she was seemingly wanting to initiate contact with or have a friendship with my husband outside of the friend group. Side note, I let this stuff build up because I couldn't let myself think that this was happening again with one of Kevin's girlfriends. Years ago, the woman he was with, not his current girlfriend, also seemed to seek my husband's attention when we were all together and disrespected boundaries.
Just say it. Just say it. How hot's your husband?
Yeah, honestly.
How hot is he?
Tell us how hot he is.
Brag a little.
Come on. I let things build up and finally talked to my husband about it, who validated how I was feeling and said that he had noticed a few instances where it got uncomfortable because of her action. We didn't really hang with them much afterwards, and she and Kevin broke up not long after. She ended up making amends to me years later for her behavior. I didn't ask her to do that. We had never talked to them about the situation. She felt the need to do that on her own. Kevin still doesn't know about any of it. I feel like that situation makes me hypervigilant to this sort of thing. Anyway, I didn't say anything for a while because what are the odds that this would be a thing again? Kevin doesn't treat his girlfriends well at all, while my husband is extremely affectionate, doting, and respectful. Maybe that has something to do with it. I talked to my husband about it finally, and he was supportive. He said he hasn't noticed anything, but that doesn't mean my feelings are invalid. He said that women are more perceptive than men, can see and pick up on things differently. He said he supports me and is aware of how I'm feeling now, and that he won't hesitate to say something or support me saying something if she does anything that crosses the line. Shortly after that convo was when she made the workout buddy comment. We both agreed afterwards that it was a weird thing to say. I kept trying to let it go, but we all hung out again recently and I couldn't enjoy myself. I was so angry and on guard about her past behavior and if she would try anything again. Within a few minutes of us all being together, Kevin mentioned my husband's hands were cold. We were golfing and Kevin gave him his gloves. Kevin's girlfriend then decided that it was okay to touch my husband's forearm repeatedly. Literally poked it 10 plus times while smiling and saying, "Oh yeah, it is cold."
So
What?
he's muscular too.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, right?
I'm just kidding. I'm trying to make jokes because this story is severely frustrating.
I think that, listen, good advice, Goofy. That's what we're here for. Yeah, no, that's definitely, it's so weird because it's hard with things like this because it's like they're so small. So sometimes bringing it up in the moment. Exactly. It's like they add up. So it's like, okay, girl, like we know what's going on.
It's always scary too because then I feel like most of the time when you hit that breaking point of them just doing like something, it's like always this tiny little thing, but it's just added up and that's where you lose it.
Yeah.
And then everyone looks at you like
that was so small, you're overreacting.
And it's like, but you don't understand.
No, it's like, it's all of this adding up. Like, that's what's so hard with things like this.
I had someone look into my boyfriend at the time's eyes and say that all she had to do to feel better was gaze into his eyes for a little while.
That's insane. That's insane. You do not say that to friends. You say that to lovers. That's crazy, dude. While she was doing this, my husband immediately reached out and grabbed my hand, which told me he understood that the excessive touching wasn't necessarily appropriate.
Oh, A+.
A+. I didn't say anything. I didn't trust myself to say something in a respectful way in that moment.
Fair.
I just smiled at him and brushed it off. Later, she was taking pictures of him holding her baby, which rubbed me the wrong way because, again, has she ever done that with me? No. By the end of the night, I spoke with my husband again. I was livid at having felt disrespected again by her. He told me that he didn't realize how angry I actually was and that my anger might be compounded by the fact that I've let all of this build up and haven't talked to her. He said that he would support that conversation and what comes after, that it's okay for me to remind her in that conversation that she and my husband are not friends, and that he would be understanding if I said I didn't want her around with him without me there. I'm not proud of my behavior that night, and in our relationship, we've never set limits on one another's lives or actions. We haven't had to. I think I was just extremely triggered by the situation. It was the worst feeling. I haven't felt it in a really long time.
I will interject to say that I don't think that that's like a controlling boundary to just be like, don't hang out with her one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's you being like, hey, I'm really uncomfortable with her in a group setting already. It seems kind of obvious you wouldn't hang out with her alone.
Yeah, also, like, he brought it up. It says he would be understanding if I said I didn't want her around him without me there.
Okay, so not one-on-one, but OP can't go to the group hangs. She still doesn't want him to go.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but that's bringing it up,
that
though.
was, he brought that up. Like, that was his idea.
Your husband sounds so nice.
I know.
Aww.
Like, yeah, I think it's all about, like, how you bring it up, though, too. Like, if she just straight out said, like, you're not allowed to do this, then, like, obviously that's controlling.
But if it's like, hey, here's how I've been feeling, and he's like, oh my God, then what? How do you feel about me saying, like, I won't hang out without you?
In this specific situation, it's not like, oh, it's just like some random thing. It's like, well, no, this happens when she's around, and if, like, me talking to her doesn't help, then, like, that's kind of all that we have to do is to make her stop. Is
Can't
just not be
imagine
around
how
her.
much worse
if
he's not around.
Yeah, right? Fast forward a few days later, I called Kevin's girlfriend. I figured I would open that line of communication, be a grown-up, use my voice, and say how I feel. I was completely respectful, gave specific examples, not all of the ones mentioned above, just 2, and told her that I wanted to understand where she was coming from. I let her know that I love them, want to be a part of their lives, want us all to continue hanging out as a friend group, and want to get on the same page and set some boundaries so that this won't continue building. She seemed receptive, apologized, and said that she doesn't realize how the things she says comes off sometimes. She said she doesn't really have friends, let alone heterosexual male friends, and that she doesn't get out much because she's always with her and Kevin's baby. I heard her out and told her that I never assume her intentions are bad. It seemed like the convo ended well. We said we're happy to have the line of communication open between us more so now. Then yesterday happened. My husband and I went to a friend's and Kevin was there. Not with his girlfriend or their baby. My husband and Kevin hadn't talked since Kevin's girlfriend and I had a conversation. I hadn't told my husband specifics about our convo, but let him know that it went well. Kevin pulled my husband aside to make sure that they're good, since his girlfriend and I talked. I wasn't a part of the conversation, but overheard certain part. Like Kevin saying that screams insecurity to me. I trust my girlfriend. I trust you. I was going to invite you golfing, but didn't know if we were okay. Stuff like that. My heart literally sunk into my chest. The conversation between Kevin's girlfriend and I was supposed to squash this, not make it worse. And my husband reassured me that it wouldn't affect he and Kevin's friendships, that Kevin wouldn't care. I specifically asked that before I spoke with her, letting my husband know that I never want to interfere with him and Kevin's relationship. Anyway, I felt like I did something wrong. I talked to my husband on the way home and he said that I didn't, and that he and Kevin are fine, but that Kevin's girlfriend feels like she needs to walk on eggshells now or be careful about things she says when we're all hanging out. And by the way, you never have to be careful when listening to full episodes of stories just like this one. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or whatever your favorite podcast app is, and search OK Storytime. There is a little bit more to the story, but what are we thinking about this so far?
I hate these kind of girls with a freaking burning passion.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because it's like, well, I mean, yeah, you kind of do have to be careful about what you're saying. Like, obviously, like, your things are making people uncomfortable, and you didn't know that. So, yes,
Right.
you do have to be careful, but that doesn't mean you need to, like, go to your husband.
Right, we're not, like, censoring ourselves. We're just not touching OP's husband or, like, flashing him up our dresses.
Yeah, right? It's like
pretty obvious things are the only things that need to change.
Yeah.
Barely.
Right, because it's like, okay, well, so in your eyes, girl, like, if you really did see this in a way of, like, you know, I actually don't need to do that much, like, just need to tweak.
Yeah.
Like, what would that look like to you? Because, like, it's gonna be uncomfortable since you seemingly didn't realize this was a problem before. But there is a little bit more to the story. I'm like, all she has to do is literally think before she talks and it'll be fine. I've known Kevin for much longer than his girlfriend has known my husband, and I would never do the things that she has done or say the things that she's said. I felt like if I didn't say something, it would continue to get worse and she'd keep crossing boundaries. I didn't want that to happen. My husband said that I can't control how she reacts to our conversation. I just hate that I feel like Kevin thinks that I don't trust my husband or that I'm insecure. Am I the a-hole for feeling this way? For having that phone conversation with her? And what's our answer?
No!
But that's the end of that story.
I told my girlfriend no, and now I'm a bare minimum boyfriend.
If he wanted to, he would.
My girlfriend and I have been dating for a few months, and we've gotten into a few fights already. Apart from these fights, it has been a great relationship where neither of us can go a day without talking to each other. We're always planning to spend time together, and I found that all of my free time is spent with her. By the way, this comes from Persimmon Necessary 14, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
I'm Angie.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we would do. Let us know what you would do in the comment. As OP says, I'm giving a tremendous amount of effort to make this work because I really love her, but I'm afraid she might be taking things for granted. With that context, we've had a few bad fights that are really making me reconsider if we're truly compatible. From my perspective, I feel like I do a lot to show her that I care and am making a great effort to be a good boyfriend. For example, I took her on a week-long road trip to Miami for her birthday. It was the first time I've ever booked a suite because I wanted it to be special, since it was the first time we were celebrating a birthday together. I made a couple of reservations on her actual birthday and only did what she wanted to do because this trip was all about her. On the day we were supposed to leave, we got into a mini fight after she asked if I could help her pack since I'd finished packing already and was relaxing. I told her I was really tired, but ultimately gave in to help her. We had a small talk afterwards, and I expressed that she simply requests too many things from me sometimes and that I have a limit. We settled it with a mission to work on our communication. When I'm feeling overwhelmed by her requests, I'll let her know and she'll tone them down. No biggie, right? The next fight was a couple weeks later, when we were both hanging out at my place after a long day, and she asked me to go downstairs to get her a glass of water, a small request that I should have no problem with. However, I felt extremely tired this time, and although I usually get her water whenever she asks, I asked if she could get it herself since she knows where everything is, and I have no roommates. Okay. We both ended up just falling asleep for a couple hours. I woke up because I had to use the bathroom, and during this time, she asked again for the glass of water. Since I was already up, I went to get it and brought it up to her. After I handed it to her, I dropped back down on the bed, exhausted and wanting to go back to sleep right away. She finished drinking and touched my arm with the glass, indicated that she wanted me to put it down on the ground for her. I was so tired and didn't want to, so I ignored it. This made her mad, so she touched my arm again with it, adding a grunt. I got annoyed and blurting out, "I'm good, bro." This made her livid, and we started fighting until I apologized for what I said and hoped that was the end of it. I also want to note that we were on good terms in between these fights. Everything goes smoothly until I refuse to do one of her requests. I'm gonna pause so quickly.
Go ahead.
OP, the way that you're refusing the requests.
Yeah.
Not that you're refusing them.
Yeah, I agree. If I did that to Riley and I was just like, hello,
like put it on the ground.
Yeah, or like
Or
give
just
me
like,
water. Yeah, he would just like look at me and like joke at me like, you could do it,
Right,
you know?
he'd be like, come on, you could put it on the ground
Yeah,
too.
in like the way that we already joke about things.
Right, but turning around and being like, come on, bro, or not
You're like,
now, bro.
I'm good, like, or just straight up ignoring it. Like,
Right.
I feel like
I'd
we
be like,
can
I
do
know
this
you
better.
didn't fall asleep that quickly. Just put the water on the ground.
Yeah, like, come on.
Or I'm gonna crawl over you really dramatically to put the water.
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
ground.
Like if he's just closer to the ground, I feel like
Yeah.
that's so valid for him to just do that.
Yeah, to put it on the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like to put it. Yeah.
I don't want them to
It's-
think you meant
No,
ignoring
I
it.
didn't even think about that. Like it's so if he's closer to the ground and can reach the floor a lot easier, it's so valid for him to just put the water down.
Put the water on the
it's
ground.
So easy.
I'm picturing the bed in like a corner, so she's not
Yeah,
even near
right?
it, but I could be wrong. The next fight was when we got home after a long day. She was so sleepy, she went straight to my bed without brushing or putting on her retainer, which she needs to wear nightly because she got Invisalign. I tried to convince her to brush her teeth before we got into bed, but she's very hard to get up once she's already down. So I went to brush without her and got ready for bed. When I was done, I didn't want to just let her sleep without putting her retainer on, so I tried to get her up. I felt I was annoying her, but it worked. She got up and went to brush as I laid down because I was tired. She normally likes it when I stand behind her when she brushes so she can feel my presence, and she requested it again this time. I usually say yes, but this time I was really tired, so I told her to just please brush on her own and join me in bed after she's done. The sooner she finishes, the sooner we can be physically together again. The bathroom is attached to my bedroom, so I was literally like 10 feet away from her. She got really upset and refused to brush until I got up and stood next to her. I told her she was being ridiculous, and this made her even more mad. She sat there on my toilet for what seemed like the next half hour while I stayed in bed. She eventually got it done and joined me in bed, and we both just let it go in the morning. We were good for a little bit until the other day when I was working in DC and decided to get a drink with an old friend after work. During this time, she asked if she and her friend could crash at my place for a little bit. I let them use my place to hang out while I was out and was excited to see her when I got back. We got to hang out with her friend too, and when she had to go, she offered to take my girlfriend home so that I didn't have to drive and come back as they live near each other. Everyone agreed it was a good idea. I took advantage of this by getting ready for bed early because I had work again the next day. I was already in bed when she got home, and she wanted to call to say goodnight. I answered her call right away with enthusiasm and was ready to have a nice goodnight call and go to bed. That is, until she asked if we could FaceTime instead. I nicely told her that I didn't want to because I would have to get up from bed, turn on my lights, which would disturb my sleep, and that I was really tired. Once again, dude, didn't need to do all that. Put the brightness up on your phone.
Yeah. Have the phone be your light.
Could we just say goodnight over the phone? She got really mad that I was refusing to get on FaceTime and angrily said, well, I don't want to just talk to nothing, so I guess goodnight. To which I said, all right, good night. And she hung up. The next day I texted her first, hoping she wasn't still mad, but she made it obvious with her one-word replies. She had plans to see her friend that night, so she said, I'll be busy, so I'll talk to you later. which was fine. I gave her that space. You guys also never finish your fight. Have a conversation.
Yeah, I honestly, like, have so many thoughts about how these people should not be together.
So many thoughts. The following day, we had plans for the whole day. It was supposed to be another date night I'd planned for us, and I'd gotten us tickets for a pottery painting thing. The plan was for me to pick her up from her friend's place, which is like a 40-minute drive. So I texted her first thing in the morning to let me know when she wanted me to come so that I could prepare. She didn't reply for a couple of hours, and then she finally said that she was just going to Metro home and stay home for the day. This made me pretty upset because I'd been waiting around all morning since I promised her I would pick her up. I let my emotions take over me and asked if she was just going to forget about all our plans today. She got really angry with me and said that she never planned on skipping out on the date, but if I was going to have this nasty attitude, we might as well. We didn't fix things in time before the event, so the tickets went to waste. So now it's the next day, and we're still going back and forth about how I feel like I'm doing so much for her, but it's never enough. And the moment I say no to one of her requests, she gets angry and it blows up into a big thing. She says she appreciates everything I do, but if I can't do these simple asks, then I'm not even doing the bare minimum as a boyfriend. I just can't seem to see her side or agree with her because I feel like I'm doing so much. I dedicate all my free time to spend with her, I pay for mostly everything, and I even drive her to DC multiple times just so she can hang out with her friends safely so she doesn't have to Metro while I wait for her to be done and take her home. And because I said no a few times to requests that I think are a little bit silly and unnecessary, she's accusing me of not doing the bare minimum. I really want this to work, and if it's me, why do I feel burnt out by all her requests? Am I just a bad boyfriend? Thanks in advance for any advice. We have an update. Let me hear it, Ange. Tell me your thoughts.
Okay, I think these guys are just straight up not compatible at all. Like, I see both of their sides.
Same.
Yeah, like, I understand if the girl is like, okay, yeah, like, sometimes, like you said, there are just some small things where it's like,
Right.
come on, like, this stuff is fun and
So
just, like,
easy.
yeah, like, small little sweet things of what we could do when we hang out with each other. It's just relationship stuff.
Yeah.
So I can understand wanting your partner to do that. But I also understand that demanding it every time and getting mad over not doing every little thing is exhausting.
Yeah. Because it does sound like he's still planning some really nice outings and is doing
Yeah.
a lot for her. So
Yeah.
I would take offense if I did all that and they were like,
Sure.
you're doing the bare minimum.
Yeah, totally.
In the same thing though, dude,
Yeah.
FaceTime her for 30 seconds.
Yeah. Like, I think that the way he's going about things like
Yeah.
that are definitely also not great. Like,
Yeah.
you know, saying like, oh, you don't want me to go stand by you? Like, oh, you're being so ridiculous. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay, that does not need to be our response to stuff
Right.
like that.
Update. We had a long conversation where we both just listened to each other's perspectives without being defensive. She's going to start taking accountability for her overreactions and be more mindful of being too needy. She does not think that I'm a boyfriend who only does the bare minimum, and she apologized for saying that. But she does agree that maybe she cares more about the little thing. By the way, I care about you guys listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Search up OK Storytime. We've got a little bit left to this story.
Let's just jump right
Let's
into
do
it.
So for me, I think I'll lessen the gifts, planning trips, and taking her out to eat so much so that I don't feel burnt out. I'll focus more on being more present with her without the flashiness, doing smaller acts of service, and taking more time for myself instead of catering to her world all the time. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt and chalking all of this up to immaturity rather than emotional manipulation. Don't agree with that sentence, buddy. I don't think that she's being immature or emotionally manipulating you.
Yeah, that was interesting.
But if it doesn't get better, then I know what I need to do. But that's the end of this story.